First of all, look, we've got to talk about the weight. That's been the main news of this morning. Firstly, what do you make of the fact that Chris has missed weight and by such fine margins, and then obviously, of course, as well, the fine that comes alongside that?
I haven't seen any pictures of him yet, so I wouldn't know what he looks like.
Can we just get them?
Sorry, I haven't seen any pictures of him yet, so I wouldn't know what he looks like. What I will say is, when you miss a weight by such a small margin like that, and the repercussions are so heavy as they are, that tells you he could not possibly get any more off.
Mm-hmm. This is, if you haven't seen him already.
Okay.
This is him here.
He's a seriously dedicated young man. No one can ever take that away from him. And he's tried his very best. So fair play to him. I'm not his biggest fan. He's not my biggest fan, but I do admire what he goes through, and I do admire the approach that he has. Because this is a boy who, I said this earlier in the week, this kid, as fighters and people that come from where I come from nothing. And I come from a place that's tough and hard, and I had no other way out. And so do 99% of fighters. This is our way out. We dream of getting to them silk pyjamas. We dream of going to bed in the silk pyjamas and not being able to sleep. This kid was christened in silk pyjamas, and he chose to take them off and get in the ring. And Conor's the exact same. So I have a lot of admiration for both of them from that perspective. It's unfortunate that he's not made weight. It poses no advantage whatsoever, 0.5 of a pound. I just know how hard it is for him would have been to get that off. He can't. His body's gone into shutdown. I had it at light heavyweight when I used to make 175. It's the hardest thing you will ever do. And once the body shuts down, the only way to do it is drag it out. He could go on a treadmill and run for 5 miles and not lose a single ounce. He would have to go into a really hot bath full of salt. And that's the only way to get it. You have to draw it out your body. Your body is going to shut down, will no longer give it up. The worry now for him will be, what does he weigh tomorrow? Because everything he sticks in his body's going to absorb, and it's not going to give anything out. And so his body right now is in shock. Listen, this is not... I'm making it sound a lot more harsh than it is. As fighters, this is what we're used to. This is what we go through. I'm telling people from a neutral perspective, people out there who are wondering how you do it, what you do it. I've lost 16 pounds in 16 hours. And then I've gained 20 pounds in the next 24 hours. Your body can do crazy things, but and it won't like you for doing it. Your body never forgives you, and it betrays you at the most vital times, as it's done for Chris this time.
You say there about the difficulty of actually getting the weight off and the process that you have to go through to get the weight off, but what does that mean for him in terms of, the mental side of things, how sluggish he could be, how weak he's feeling right now?
Not at all. That won't pose it in any way, shape or form. You've got to understand, when he weighs in, I would assume it's 9, 10 a.m. in the morning, he's got to weigh 10 pounds. He doesn't have to do a second check weigh-in before the fight. He's going to gain 18 pounds between tomorrow morning and when he walks to the ring. I would say 14 pounds minimum, 18 pounds maximum. And then his body will start releasing again. He'll be perfectly fine.
So you don't think that this will give Conor the advantage then?
No way, shape or form, no. Potentially, second half of the fight, he might feel it a little bit, but then ultimately Conor's going to feel his weight advantage, because he's going to be huge in that ring. He is going to be, trust me, you've seen the weight disparity between the two. He's going to be huge tomorrow night.
How do you think the fight unfolds then, tomorrow night?
I think Conor stops him, and I think Conor stops him in 6 rounds, but if this fight is to go past 6 rounds, this is a real struggle. I can't paint in any way, shape or form this fight to not work out and not be a great fight. I think it's going to be an absolutely brilliant fight. I just can't see how it can't be. The styles will gel. You've got to understand that Conor Benn is not going to stop throwing punches. Conor Benn is going to be ferocious. He's going to be explosive. It's up to how much can Chris Eubank Jr. take? That is the question. How much are you willing to take? I know the kid's super brave. Both of them are. Both of them are the father's sons. And that means you're the bravest of the brave. That's what that means. I just hope they both remain safe.
Conor will be relentless, as you say, and he will be aggressive, but he's that fighter that wears his heart on his sleeve. He's very like his dad. He's emotional. He can't let the emotions get the better of him, though, can he?
But that's what he thrives on, that's what he fights on. So the emotions will do what the emotions do to him. He fights on energy. He doesn't fight on thought and processing game plans. He fights on pure raw energy and emotion. He's emotionally driven, and he will be for the rest of his life. I was similar to that, and I learned to control it a little bit better towards the back end of my career. But yet, it's hard. It's hard. Listen, two of them are going through an awful lot. Two of them have been through an awful lot in their personal lives and what's going on. I know they really don't like each other, but it is what it is.
You said there about a lot going on, the personal side, obviously, with Chris Eubank Jr. and Chris Eubank Sr. Do you think Senior will regret it in the years to come if he doesn't turn up?
It breaks me out. It breaks me out, and I think it's disgusting that the media are playing it out like it's some kind of soap opera. It shouldn't be spoken about, and I really hope they sort it out. I know what it's like losing family, and it's not nice. It's the most brutal thing in the world, and it destroys families. I've witnessed it firsthand, so I understand what they're going through. My heart breaks for them, all of them. Every single one of them in that family. Their lives will never be the same again. And I say this because I've been where they've been 7 years on, and every day's tough. So although we don't get on, and I look at him and it nearly brings me to tears when I see him. So I feel his pain. That's all I can tell you. And as for Conor, the kid's been tortured for the last 2 years, and people can say what they want about my opinion or whatever they say. I believe the kid's innocent. I think he's proved his innocence now. He's been through the mill. So for their owners, but there's no. Let me just put that into perspective. That's an issue. That is, you know what's going on. What Chris Eubank Jr. has been through and what his family have been through is the most devastating thing in the world, because there's no greater pain than grief, and I hope people understand that his brother's not coming back, and he'll never get over that. And I know what that's like. It's horrible.